The grave was ready. The coffin was ready. The crowd had gathered to do what crowds gather to do at a burial, say their final words, and walk away changed by grief. Abigail sat among them. People held her hands. People spoke over her. But she couldn't hear any of it, because something else was happening to her, something no one around her could see. She felt her own life leaving her. Not slowly, not gently. It felt like a thick darkness rising from the ground itself, wrapping around her chest, closing over her head, swallowing her whole, inch by inch, the way water swallows someone who has stopped fighting to stay afloat. And right as the men bent down to lift the coffin, right as that darkness reached the last of her, something stirred. A word, just one word, surfacing from somewhere far beneath the darkness. Darkness, dark hour, darkest hour. Her eyes shot open. She stood up, so suddenly the crowd around her flinched. "Stop," she said. "Let me see my son. One last time." "Mama, it's all right," someone said, reaching for her arm. "You've seen him. Let them lay him to rest now. This is too much for you. Please," a neighbor added gently, "don't do this to yourself. Let him go in peace." But Abigail didn't move. She simply repeated it, quieter this time, but somehow harder to refuse. "Let me see my son. One last time." There was a long pause. Glances passed between the men holding the coffin ropes. Finally, someone sighed and nodded. Let her see him, just for a moment. They opened the coffin. She looked at her son's face. And then she said the thing that made the whole crowd go still. "Help me carry him," she said. "To the church." The silence broke into confusion. "Carry him where?" a voice asked. "To the church," she said again. "I need to take him to the church. One last prayer." "Abigail, he's already prepared for burial," Pastor Daniel said carefully, stepping closer. "The grave is open. Everything is ready. Why the church now?" "Please," she said, and something in her voice made the objections falter. "Just this. Just one more thing, and I will not ask for anything else." They argued quietly among themselves. Some said it was grief speaking, not sense. Others said a mother burying her only child deserved whatever she asked for, however strange. In the end, reluctantly, they lifted the coffin and followed her to the church. Inside, she asked for something that made even the ones who had just given in take a step back. "Take him out," she said, "and place him on my back." For a moment, nobody responded. Then the objections came all at once. "On your back? Abigail, he's a grown man. He's gone. You cannot carry him like that. This isn't right. Let us handle him properly. You will hurt yourself. Please, be reasonable." She looked at each of them, unmoved. "I carried him on my back before he could walk. I will carry him now." "But he's—" someone started and stopped, unable to finish the sentence in front of her. "I know what he is," she said quietly. "Place him on my back." They tried once more to talk her out of it. Pastor Daniel took her hands and lowered his voice. "Abigail, listen to me. Whatever it is you're trying to do, we can pray here, together, as we are. You don't have to carry him like this." "I made a promise that this would be my last request," she said. "Let me keep it. Please." It was that, the quiet, unshakable resolve in a woman who had asked for nothing her whole life, that finally silenced them. Slowly, unwillingly, hands trembling, they lifted her son's body and settled it onto her back, the way one might settle a sleeping child. And then, step by dragging step, his legs sliding cold against the floor behind her, she carried him toward the toilet. Why the toilet? To understand that question, we have to go back. Years before this morning. Before the accident. Before the phone call that broke her. Back to a woman nobody noticed. On her knees, scrubbing a floor no one else would touch. Abigail was a widow. One child, Tunde, her only son. No income to speak of. There are kinds of poverty that show, and there are kinds that hide behind a smile every Sunday morning. Hers was the second kind. While others walked into church already dressed, already fed, already rested, Abigail had been there since before the birds started. Cold mornings that cracked her knuckles. Rainy seasons that soaked through her one good wrapper. Mornings she cleaned an entire building on a stomach that had nothing in it. She swept. She scrubbed. She mopped floors that other people would step over without a second glance in an hour. No one clapped for her. No one prayed over her by name. She wasn't in the choir, wasn't on the ushering board, wasn't in a single photograph the church would ever hang on its wall. But watch her closely enough, and you'd see it. A woman who had decided, somewhere deep inside herself, that serving God was never beneath her. Not when she had nothing to eat. Not when the cold bit into her hands. Not when nobody was watching. Especially when nobody was watching. Baby Tunde was there through all of it, strapped to her back with a worn cloth, small and warm, sleeping through her prayers, her sweeping, her scrubbing. He was growing up inside her devotion long before he'd ever have words for what that meant. One morning, a morning so ordinary that if you'd asked her a week later, she wouldn't have remembered the date. Abigail knelt on the floor of that same church toilet. The floor we just watched her drag her son's body toward. Bucket beside her, cloth in her hand, Tunde asleep on her back, his small breath rising and falling against her shoulder blade. And then, in that small, unremarkable room, the air changed. It wasn't a sound at first. It was a stillness, the kind that has weight to it, the kind you feel pressing against your skin before you hear anything at all. Then, a voice. Not loud, not thunderous, just present, as though it had always been in the room and only now chose to speak. Call on me in your darkest hour, and I will answer you. Abigail's hands stopped moving. She lifted her head slowly, looked left, looked right. Nothing but bare walls and running water. She rose to her feet, stepped out into the compound, scanned every corner of it with her heart pounding. Not one soul, not one living person anywhere on that church ground. She stood there a long moment, turning the words over in her mind. Darkest hour. What did that mean? What kind of darkness was worse than the one she already knew? The poverty, the loneliness, the endless labor no one saw. She had no answer. So she did the only thing a woman like her knew how to do with something she couldn't explain. She folded it away, deep inside her, the way you keep something you don't yet understand the value of. And she picked up her bucket. And she kept scrubbing. Tunde did what Tunde does. It moved forward without asking permission. Tunde grew. He crawled, then walked, then ran across that same church compound his mother had scrubbed 1,000 mornings. He sat through school with secondhand books and a mother who fasted more than she ate so he could eat. He faced the hurdles that try to break boys from backgrounds like his, and one by one, he passed through them. He got the job. He got the small apartment in the city. He got, finally, the life his mother had bled quietly for. And he never forgot who gave it to him. One evening, his voice came through the phone lit up with a joy Abigail hadn't heard in years. "Mama," he said, "I'm coming home. I'm going to take you with me." She held that phone to her ear long after the call ended. She never got to hear him say it again. The accident happened on the road he was traveling, the same road that was supposed to bring him home to her. And now you understand what was happening to Abigail in that moment we opened with. The darkness closing over her at the graveside wasn't only grief. It was the weight of a question she'd carried for years without an answer. What did he mean, darkest hour? Arriving, all at once, with its answer standing right in front of her in the shape of a coffin. The words surfaced through the darkness like a hand breaking the surface of water. Darkest hour. This was it. There would never be a darker one. Behind her, as she walked, the whispers followed like a second procession. Grief has taken her mind. Someone should stop her. But she had made her promise, and there was no stopping her now. She stepped into that small room. Same walls, same floor. She did not lay him down. Tunde's body stayed exactly where they had placed it, on her back, and Abigail sank to her knees under the full weight of him, the way she had knelt 1,000 mornings before with him strapped there as a sleeping infant. Except this time there was no bucket, no cloth to scrub with. Just the weight of her son on her back. Just the silence. Just her. She knelt there, bent under him, believing, The way she had carried him as a child, she would carry him now, back into life. And she spoke, not a polished prayer, not a performance for anyone watching, just the raw, unfiltered cry of a woman who had absolutely nothing left to lose. Do you remember? Years ago, right here, you told me, call on you in my darkest hour, and you would answer, God, I have known dark hours before, but none like this one. This is it. This is the darkest hour I will ever face. Her voice broke, but she pushed the last words through anyway. Raise my son. Raise Tunde from the dead. What happened next is the part of this story that has traveled from mouth to mouth, church to church, for years, retold by people who say the room felt different even before it happened. Tunde's chest rose. Once. Then again, deeper this time. Then a sound. A breath pulled in like a man surfacing from deep water. Then his eyes opened. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody screamed. Nobody even breathed. It was the particular silence of people watching something their minds refused to accept as real. A held breath stretched too long. Disbelief sitting heavier than shock. Then it broke. The small room that had held nothing but grief seconds before erupted. Not with words, because no one there had any left, but with a sound somewhere between a scream and a sob. The only sound the human body makes when it witnesses something it has no language for. The same people who had whispered that Abigail had lost her mind stood frozen in that doorway, watching a promise spoken to her in an empty room years earlier answered in front of every one of them. We share this story not as verified record, but as it has been carried by believers for years, because of what it teaches. God doesn't only speak in your loudest, most public moments. Sometimes he speaks while you're on your knees in a room nobody else wants to enter, serving with nothing, believing when there's no reason to. And he does not forget what he promised, even if it takes years, even if you never fully understood it the day he said it. Whatever darkness is closing in on you right now, it may not be the end of your story. It may be exactly where he's waiting to meet you. If Abigail and Tunde's story reached something in you, don't scroll past it. Send it to someone standing in their own darkest hour right now. Subscribe to @GoatInMotion1. The next testimony of God's faithfulness is one video away.